It's the little details that make a gift feel extra special. Let me show you 5 simple ways to elevate your wrapping with these beautiful handmade touches. We're going to take some pretty wrapped gifts and turn them into something extraordinary with these gift embellishments. I'm going to show you how to make 5 different styles, and we will be using wood cutouts for all of today's projects. To get started, I went to my Creality Falcon A1 laser cutter and I cut out a variety of different wood cutouts, some that I could layer and other ones that I would be able to embellish using other craft supplies I had in my stash.
I have these wood cutouts that I cut out using my laser cutter. It's kind of like a teardrop ornament shape, 3 millimeters in thickness, and it's such a clean cut. Look how perfect that is. I took these and I painted them, used some decoupage, some of the Connie Lines and Designs paper that I have listed on my website, and I created these embellishments. Now, for these ones, I also added some glitter. I am not a fan of glitter, but for this project specifically, I really wanted to use it. And then on the back, they are just painted using a minty green. It's a fusion paint color. Inglenook is the name of it. And then I did the glitter also on the back. And this is a good example of a beautiful embellishment you can create. You can personalize this. I even had some other little tags that I cut out using my laser cutter. Look how adorable these are. They're so tiny. And this is perfect to add if you wanted to add a little embellishment. You could wrap some string or twine around the top of the ornament and then add in a tiny little tag with a letter on the inside for the person's name. So that's another option that you have for an embellishment using just a few wood cutouts and some other materials that you have in your stash.
The Falcon A1 is a compact all-in-one laser engraver and cutter. What that means is, with one machine, you can personalize wood, leather, acrylic, coated metal, and so much more. The best part? It is designed to be super easy to use, even if you've never touched a laser before. Next, let's use our laser cutter to make these personalized wood bead embellishments. Knowing that I had access to a laser cutter, I wanted to create something that I could use in my own crafts at my next craft fair. I love personalization. Personalization sells very well. And so I decided to do these little engraved tags with different family member names or friends, different ways to kind of personalize an item that you would be selling and make it super special. Another thing that I have an abundance of in my stash is wood beads. So I decided to take some of the wood beads and string them onto this twine, almost to create what looks like a mini bracelet, I guess. But I thought it would be a really neat embellishment to add to a gift, especially one with a more rustic charm and primitive farmhouse touch. Now, for this project, I wasn't really worried about the pattern or trying to make them look exactly the same. I just wanted to make sure that the beads that I had on either side of this tag were symmetrical. They were even on both sides. And I also wanted to make sure that my larger beads were not the closest beads to the tag because as they wrapped around, it would kind of push the beads off to the side as the tag got closer and there would be a gap there. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's why I have the little beads always starting all of my little embellishments. I love the idea of a handmade card, but I cannot paint the way that I would like to with watercolors or other mediums like that. So I decided to use my laser cutter to create some embellishments that I could use in a card that I can assemble instead. I went to my laser cutter and I ended up cutting out a bunch of mini wood cutouts, and I came up with a new plan. I used some various acrylic paints. These are called Color Shift acrylic paints by Artists Loft. This is something you can get off of Michaels. I really liked the shimmer effect that this paint offered to these little wood cutouts. I use these little sticky dots and they are a little larger than they need to be for this wood cutout. So I'm just going to cut them in half and I use them to stick onto the back of my little wood cutout and then to stick that down onto my card. This is one way to do it. You can also use glue if you'd like to. I would say probably a Tight Bond Quick and Thick glue or tacky glue, something that gives enough adhesion. I liked this method mainly because it stays on and goes on quickly and you don't have to have any drying time in between. Another fun little embellishment would be to add some ribbon or some other types of things that you may have in your stash. I used this baker's twine and I just wrapped it right through, almost like the ornament had a little string already on it. And then I repeated the same process that I did for the last one where I got that sticky sticker on there and then attached it to my card. I did not worry about having the little ribbon stick. I'm okay with it being kind of loose fitting there. For my next project, I wanted to find a way to create a gift embellishment that I could add to a gift, but also might be a little bit larger so that it could hold possibly a gift card. I cut out these little tags, or not so little tags, that I made on my laser cutter, and I am going to be painting the fronts of them all in a coat of white paint. For this project, I will be using Fusion's Decoupage Gel and Connie Lines and Designs rice papers. These rice papers are available on my website, and you will see that I chose a wide variety of them, not only Christmas, but some that I could use throughout the year. I'm going to be covering each of the fronts of these tags with a different style of that Connie Lines and Designs paper. I do use a water mister to mist my paper. Then I go ahead and cover the entire front of that tag with the decoupage medium and lay down my misted decoupage paper on top, smoothing it down and then covering the top of the decoupage paper immediately with some more decoupage gel. I then set it aside to dry, move on to the next one, and once all of them are dry, we'll come back and sand off those edges. We have talked about this before in my Hoard Less, Sell More series, but I will say that it is so much easier to batch things out when you are doing projects like this. And it makes it so much easier when you have something like a laser cutter where you can make an abundance of the same style or same size of something, and it allows you to kind of get through the project faster. I was able to create, I think, over 20 of these items, and we are going to find a way to put a gift card holder on the backs of them. Before I do that, I am taking some Oakum by Fusion and watering it down a bit to create a paint wash, which I will use to make it look like a stain on the top of the fronts of the little gift embellishments, and then I'm going to cover the entire back. So I'm not going to be able to show you the finished project today, but basically what I would like to do is take some of my scrapbook paper that I have left in my stash and come up with some sort of way to create a pocket on the back of these wood tags so that I can stick a gift card inside. I'm going to cut it to size, round the edges, and then instead of using hot glue, I did decide to use some double stick tape to stick down that little embellishment and added my gift card. It worked, but I think I can come up with something better. We're going to work on this again in the next video. For my last project, I'm going to show you how you can really make a truly sentimental gift embellishment using just some things that you might have had saved for a long time. This is actually a pair of pajama pants, and it is something I saved because I absolutely love the design and the patterns on it. It has a bunch of the Disney princesses, and they're almost like the children version of each of those princesses. And I decided to cut them up and cut them out from this fabric to create almost like the same thing I would do with rice paper or decoupage paper. I wanted to create some sort of embellishment that I could decoupage onto a wood tag. For this project, I'm going to be using this golden heavy gel matte. It is a acrylic medium and it really goes on really thick. And I wanted it like that because I knew that this fabric had a greater potential to come off rather than some of the thinner decoupage paper that I typically use. I covered the entire tag with that matte medium, and now I'm going to smooth my little design onto my tag. And then once that's done, I'm going to embellish around the sides so you don't even know that this was never a part of this piece. I decided to paint one of those mini tags that I showed you earlier in this video using Savannah Mist, which is a Dixie Belle chalk paint, and it offers that same beautiful blue that you saw in the piece of that pajama pants that I have decoupaged onto my wood tag. I'm going to add some of these beautiful pink faux florals that I got from Walmart. You saw me use these a few weeks ago in those chapstick or the lip balm ornaments that I created. I am adding just a couple of these onto the top to kind of balance out the design that is on the left-hand side. And then once that is done, I will add my tag and this beautiful pink chiffon ribbon at the top. I also added a sweet little bow where that tag was, but I did not put any monogram on it yet. I wanted to make sure that I saved it for the person who purchased it so I can add exactly what they would like to see on here. I hope today's video has given you some inspiration. If you are interested in a laser cutter for yourself, now could not be a better time. There are discounts of up to 35% off going on now through Christmas Day. Use the additional code of ZFN10 for an additional 10% off. Other information is linked down below in my description box.